Okay, it's high time we get an update on this 38 convertible coupe. Okay, JB, give us an update here. What's going on? There's a lot of shiny metal showing up here and there.
This is a car we got years ago when you could still find them, and there are precious few of them out there, and even fewer today because a lot of them have been restored. And so we have this one convertible coupe left. I don't imagine that we'll probably find another one, to be honest. So we've gotten around now. The other cars are out of the Bodywork division, and they're off having upholstery done and mechanicals and that sort of thing. Oscar, being our metal man, he's going into this car with the specific instructions that there are no instructions, okay? Anybody who micromanages somebody who knows more than you do, they got a name for that. So we're not gonna do that. We're just gonna say, finish it, okay, and walk away, because Oscar's done so many of these, and he's such a very conscientious guy. He'll fight you tooth and nail if you try to do something stupid. I've had that experience with him. You think you know, you think you've got a direction that you like, and then you come up against Oscar, and he just stands there and goes, no, we're not doing that. And he knows that nobody's going to question him beyond that, because when he feels that he's right about what he's thinking and the direction he wants to take, you have to give him direction. This is a great object lesson for anyone that works for you. Find somebody who's very talented, try desperately to help them and get them what they need, but stay the hell out of their way.
Now, you might say if he's fighting you, you better stop and ask questions and understand why.
Yeah, why is he fighting you? And you maybe go in the office and think about it and say, I see what he's saying, but if you're closed your mind and you think you're really smart, I've been doing this 50 years.
Yeah.
He's been doing it 40.
Yeah.
But he's more directly involved in metalwork. So he's a metal man, we call him.
Sure.
He's not a Bondo slinger. He minimizes any kind of fillers whatsoever by doing the work with a torch and hammers and dollies and that sort of thing. So he's going to get the body, as you can see, the beautiful work he's done up here on the top above the deck lid.
All right, well, let's talk about the work he's done. Last time he was adjusting a door, I think, was where we left off.
Right, and that, of course, is really critical. It's even more critical on convertibles because the car, of course, is flexing now. There are parts of the car at the factory, and this was built by an aftermarket company like all convertibles in that era. They're going to put reinforcement to stop the bending that's going to happen when you cut the roof off.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very big problem. It's the companies that didn't. You see that later, and it becomes a real problem, even early on, because once you cut the top off of any car, the car becomes less strong. Now, these are body-on-frame welded cars, so that helps because now that stiffness remains a lot of it. But in this case, it's still a convertible, and we've lost the top to triangulate our strength. So we got it. They added it back, and we have to be mindful that has to be preserved. There are little brackets and things that are very key to that process. Some of it's up in the engine compartment. A lot of people don't even know what the hell they're looking at. They just take it off, throw it away, or what's that? That's not doing me any good.
Right.
You can't do that because now the car can flex in the middle, and that's really bad. So we're being especially cautious to take it easy, especially at this stage. We don't put a lot of filler on these cars. So as you notice, he's looking at getting these alignments correct with respect to this piece and that piece.
Right.
You see here where a tail piece has been welded on earlier on, and we can see here, if you look at this, we're starting to see some cracking because this was just a basic primer. It was not the correct outdoor primer that we like to use. So this will all be routed out just like you see over here down to white metal, and then we'll fill it properly, or he may even use brass and fill it right to the point where a tiny bit of filler wouldn't be a problem. Okay. But everything is starting to look good. Everything's lining up. He's going to mock up the rear fenders, make sure that the fitment between the body and the fender is correct. We don't want to have giant gaps or problems.
Right.
Fender could be bad. The car could be bad.
Sure.
But until you bolt the whole car together, and this is a step that everybody seems to not want to do. Put the car together completely and totally.
It feels like you're doing it twice, right?
Well, you are.
Yeah.
But then when you do it the second time, it's correct.
Yeah.
So
you're not going to be fighting anything.
Yeah. You get to these points, you go, why didn't I just slow down?
Yeah.
And what you're doing exactly is you're multiplying the effort, and you're losing a lot of quality when you're in the process. So bolting a car together can happen in a few days.
Right.
And now you see all of these wanton problems that didn't
Right.
show up because you're too busy tearing it apart.
Yeah, it'd be a shame to have a painted car and you attach a fender and it doesn't align.
Exactly,
Then you're in
exactly. So
problem.
you're backing up,
Yeah.
you're hurting the car. These are very rare, very beautiful cars, and you got to be mindful of that. These cars
Mhm.
are not inexpensive either. So do proper body work, build a proper foundation, and then when you get to the primer stage and you're block sanding and you're painting, all of that will come around to help, and that'll preserve the car for many years to come.
Right.
I don't think we've ever had a redo on a bodywork in the last at least 10 or 15 years. A part of it is because they're in protected, sheltered areas, but the other part is that we don't use funky fillers. We don't use a lot of Bondo, and we straighten the cars metal-wise before we use any kind of filler at all, and try to
Right.
minimize the filler when we do.
Interesting.
Yep.
Well, it looks like as he's been sanding or grinding on it, he's not finding that much body filler.
No,
pre-existing, is he?
again, this car from the cowl back was a really good car.
Uh-huh.
It's one of the reasons that we wanted to buy it.
Mm-hmm.
And the front, we had to replace parts of the front, but we have, a boneyard full of four-door sedans that we can take really good sheet metal and put it on the. It's identical to the convertible front,
Right.
so there's really no penalty there.
Right.
Yeah, but we're going to fit up the running boards. Now we won't use these running boards, but we use them for alignment because everything has to tie together.
That might explain why there's like 4 pair of locking pliers down there.
Exactly. We're not going to bolt it on. We could bolt it on. We want to see where we're at in general. Like I
Yep.
said, a quick throw the car together, and you'll see your problems.
Yeah.
You'll see big or little or no problems.
Right.
Which case you can take the car back apart. You register in your mind with the things that need attention and the things that don't. If it's very few, and usually it is very few,
Mm-hmm.
you identify those and you say, I'm going to spend some time working on this, and I'm not going to get out 6 gallons of Bondo to do it.
Yeah. So what is the importance of him? Like, he seems to be not doing everything. He's doing certain things. So what is his approach as far as order of...
Well, what he's doing is he's stripping the car with a grinder.
Okay.
These cars have a lot more metal than later model stuff.
Uh-huh.
It's very ductile. So we can go into it with something like this, which is a Roloc.
Okay.
The Roloc is very aggressive, but it's also forgiving and it's soft. So if it hits something hard, it's gonna go away from it. It's not gonna grind it off like a grinder would.
Okay, right.
So we're gonna go into a Roloc, and you can see that we can go in these little tight areas a lot better with a Roloc than we ever could with a grinder.
Oh, sure.
Grinder's a big flat thing, and it doesn't want to go into a
Right.
little tight curve.
Makes sense.
So
Yep.
we'll Roloc all of these details off, and this is a pretty fast way to do it.
It's
They're
amazing.
very aggressive, but
Yeah.
you just have to know they exist, and get a number of them because you burn them up pretty quickly. It goes on a special arbor, and they're just incredible for this sort of work.
Just on,
Any
an
kind of
an
body
air
work.
gun, right? Kind of a thing?
Yeah, it really is. It's very gentle to the metal. It doesn't
Uh-huh.
chew up anything, but it'll get after any kind of filler or rust or primer very quickly, and that's what we're looking for.
And it looks like he's making sure everything's lining up
Yeah,
front.
he's going to bolt the whole car together, put everything on it,
Mm-hmm.
and look at it and study it and say, you know what, this opening for that grill is wrong. That's a really
I see.
classic mistake. Just
Oh,
send the grill
that's
out,
why
get
he's
it
got
plated.
grills here to make sure
Right.
they fit.
Send the grills out, get them plated, and the grills are one thing and the car's another.
And you spent money plating a grill that's wrong.
Well, you painted the car, even worse,
Ooh.
and now the grill doesn't fit. You want to talk about a sad day.
That's a sad day.
That's
yeah.
a very sad day because you got to tear the whole car apart.
Right.
If that grill doesn't fit perfectly,
Yeah.
you got problems.
Yeah.
And I mean right here in River City.
Wow.
Nobody's going to expect the grill to be sticking out from the hole it goes into. That
Right.
would be really bad.
Interesting.
Okay.
Good job, Oscar.
Now we make these running boards now because the steel ones that we make them out of composite.
Uh-huh.
I could give them a 100-year warranty. They're not going
They're
anywhere.
just, yeah.
These things, even when you repair them, it's just repaired old rusty steel.
Yeah.
And we just said, you know what, we're wasting way too much time. Let's just make brand new ones, and we've sold them all over the world.
No kidding.
And everybody just loves them because you just bolt them on. You do not
yeah,
have
they
to
bolt
grind
on,
the
they
front.
fit.
You don't have to grind the front, grind the back, grind the inside.
Right.
And when you repair one, it's coming off another car, which means it doesn't fit by definition.
Right.
So
And it occurs to me because people step on them, and they also on the outside
Sure, they're
edge
right
of the
there
car.
in harm's way. When you
so
get in the
can see
car,
that
you put
things
your
can
foot on.
happen
Yeah,
very easily. They're
and it does happen.
yeah, interesting.
So we're like I said, we're fortunate we have the complete top mechanism. This has to be in place.
Right.
We don't know with this car moving this way because there's no top. We have to make absolutely certain that this top lines up properly. So when the top maker makes it, he's making it to
Again, he's going to be measuring to something.
Exactly.
So maybe
and if this post is laid back,
yeah,
or goes forward, the top
Yeah.
can't possibly fit
Yeah.
properly, or at all for that
So a
matter.
lot of very important work gets done while it's in its
Exactly.
so-called ugly stage.
And the ugly stage involves going out and locating all the pieces and parts. This top, I don't remember the actual origin of it, but I remember that this header bow came off of one car. This came off another car. That we had to actually make some of this stuff. We took it out, had it recast because it's a casting, and
Wow.
it has to be a casting property. You can't, jury rig everything. Sometimes you just have to go make another one.
Right. Interesting.
The same way the factory did.
Yeah.
Now, some of these steel bars, of course, can be just bent and drilled. This sort of thing is impossible to find. This is a casting, and fortunately, you can see that we had the original.
Yeah.
But in one of the cars, we took one of these, as I recall, sent it to the foundry, had a right-hand casting made, or 2 or 3,
Oh wow.
and we just sold a set to a guy who didn't have any.
Wow. So when they're in that condition, do you end up stripping them down?
Yeah, you strip them down, but
re-chrome
and the casting process is pretty forgiving. I mean,
Yeah.
they're going to make a piece of yellow brass.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
We'll clean this up to a tiny bit.
Yeah.
But all they do is they build a mold around it, and then
Yep.
they pour it full of yellow brass,
Uh-huh.
which is easily finished and easily bent and formed into the correct shape,
Yep.
and also plates really well.
Yeah.
So that's why we use it.
Got it. Okay. Well, it's nice to see this thing making progress.
Yeah, it's going to be a beautiful car.
Yeah.
I've tried to find one of these in a restored condition. I missed one a few years ago, and I've been kicking myself ever since. So
What color are you going to paint it?
big surprise. Red. It looks as though I'm glad he's put it together because I was concerned we were missing something. It looks like everything is
Yeah.
present and accounted for.
Excellent.
We have an engine built for it already, so we're good to go on that.
That's handy.